Hello class. As I told you that I'll be explaining a few short questions, the answers that I already sent to you. But I thought of discussing a few things because one or two requests came from you that certain things would be better understood if a video is done. So that's why I'm making this effort. Um, Let us open that thing. I will quickly share my screen with you so that you can see which are the ones I'm going to discuss right now. As you can see, the first question where I asked the identify the invalid identifiers. Okay, what are the identifiers? Identifiers are first of all the names of the variables. Also, it could be names of a function that you give. I mean, the user-defined function. And in some cases, we can make user-defined packages or modules. Then it can be the name of the user-defined packages and modules also. But normally, identifier means our variables and the function names. Okay, so we need to remember here that when you name an identifier, look at this. This one is a keyword. A keyword cannot be the name of an identifier. This is a very simple rule we have to remember. Secondly, an identifier name cannot start with a digit, which happened in case of C. Okay, that is why it is an invalid identifier. Similarly, if you remember in class 11, I told you that whenever you name a variable or an identifier, what you do is you use only one character other than the alphabets and the digits, that is underscore. Okay. So the underscore can come in between two different words where particularly if you want two words to be separated for better understanding, like my name. Okay, there are two different words. Here space is used. The space is not permitted. It could have been underscore. In fact, an identifier name could have started also with an underscore. That is also possible. So a variable name can start either with an underscore or it can start with a letter of alphabet. Capital or small, that doesn't matter. Okay, so these few things we need to remember. Another interesting thing I watched, some of you made a mistake here. Okay, this kind of statement we have done simultaneous assignment, but we have not done any output problems on this in class 11. Probably that is the reason why you could not get it correct. Uh, in this kind of case, you need to remember, I wrote a small example for you. I will better show you that. That is a very simple one and will make your understanding clear. We know that whenever we make x comma y, it's a simultaneous assignment. That means x is getting a value 10 and y is getting a value 20. There is no doubt about it. But what happens here, look at this, there are three statements. Three statements, what's happening here, look at this. First, y is given the value x. So at a glance, what we feel that x is given the value y, okay? And then next time when you wrote x equal to x into 5, so the current value of y will be considered. Here only we go wrong. It's not that. Actually, what is happening here, all three statements are happening at the same time. So if all these things happen at the same time, what I mean to say that x equal to y, that is first one. Second one was y equal to y plus x. And the third one, that is x equal to x into 5. So if these three things happen at the same time, that means I cannot consider this value, the latest value of x here, because there is no latest value or there is no old value here, because all three are happening at the same time. And since all three are happening at the same time, obviously we will see the actual value of x and y. So when this statement happens, x equal to x into 5, here the value of x which is being used is its original value 10. Similarly, here also, when we use x, we use the actual value of x. And when we use y here, we use the value y, that is 20. But x never becomes 20. Okay? Even if x becomes 20, immediately after that, x is changed. Okay? So these three things happen simultaneously. So here in this line, we have to remember there is no current value or no early value. Okay, all three happens at the same time. So as a result, what happens? Here when we write x equal to y, x holds the value 20. But this value of x equal to 20 we will not take, because x equal to x into 5, since this is written later, So this value ultimately gets printed here. Okay. But this value of x does not influence the value here, the computation here. That's what I mean to say. Okay. So what will happen here? X will get the value y. That means x will become 20. But immediately after that, x will be changed once again at the last line. Okay. Or at the last computation. So x ultimately becomes 50. 10 multiplied by 5. And here what happens, again, the actual value of x and y will be used as per the rule I told you. So it will become 30. So for x we will get 50, and for y we will get 10 plus 20, 30, 40. So that is what is going to happen. Okay. So we just have to remember this rule. Let me remove all these things. We should not keep it here. If we remove all this and if we run the program, look at this. As per my thing, we are getting 50 and 30. Another question which I thought of discussing with you is this one. The use of global variable. Many of you had a misconcept about global. You thought that when we are using the global keyword, that means we are trying to use a global variable's value in a function, but that's not the case actually. Okay, let me write a very small code for you. I will remove this one. Say there is a function fun. Okay, this is the function that I want to declare here. Imagine there is a global variable called p, okay, and there is a local variable. Obviously, if I write k equal to something 20, say, so k is a local variable, and I wrote k, the new, say there is another variable j equal to k plus the global variable p. Who is the global variable? Remember, p is the global variable. Okay, how p is the global variable? Because look at this much is my function. So in my main body or the main part of the program, I wrote p equal to say whatever 50, and I called the function, just by the name. Nobody is passing any value here. Just call the function. So what happens when we write p equal to 50 and fun function is being called, k equal to 20. So what happens here? We get k plus p. K plus p means here the value 20 is used, okay, and p, that means 50, is used. So we get print j, that means 50 plus 20 will be printed. Here there is no need of any global variable, although I am using the global variable p. Okay, I will just save it and I will show it to you. Look at this, without any problem, it is giving any output. So, and I did not use any global variable. So the global keyword, sorry. The point is the global keyword is to be used when you want the global variable, which has been given value obviously in the main part, is planning to go through some change. If you're planning to do some change in the value of the global variable within the function, then we comes the need of the global variable. For example, say you wrote here k equal to 20, and then you wanted p to be p plus k. So here obviously p is going through a change. Now in this case it will give you a problem. If you try to run this program, look at this, it gives you an error. P is referenced before assignment. Why P? What does it mean? P is referenced before assignment. It means that P has not been given any value and you are making use of P. Okay, that means here the function did not recognize P as a global variable. He did not consider P to be global, because global variable should not be going through any kind of change. So function fun did not understand or could not recognize P to be a global variable. Here comes the need of the keyword global. So before you use the variable p, if you write global p, then this message will not come. Okay, look at this. In this case, it works perfectly all right. It gives 90 as an output. Why 90 as an output? We can see p plus k. So 50 plus 20, 70, and then another 20 will be added. So it will become 90. Uh, so I hope you understood now that global P here basically makes a declaration for fun, or make it easy for fun to understand that here P is supposed to be a global variable. So that global variable now can go through some change. So in a simple way, we'll remember if the global variable is not going through any kind of change in its value or in its content, then there is no need of global keyword. So global keyword is used in a function only if the global variable is undergoing through some change and that variable is being further used for computation. Fine. So these two small things I just wanted you to know. And uh, another thing I just thought of telling you, this kind of statement also we have not done before. Okay, this A greater than B greater than equal to C. Here we have to interpret it as if A is greater than B and B is greater than equal to C. Okay, it means here when my cursor is blinking, we have to imagine as if there is an and this B is a part of both the condition A greater than B and another is B less than equal to C, and there is one and operator working in between. These three things, few things you just have to remember. Okay. Remaining of the programs, I think you managed quite well. In my next video, then what I will do, I will discuss some of the answers which were a little complicated for you maybe in the worksheet part 2.